Hello everyone, this is Fang /VA here, along with the very beautiful Mizuki Ravendale.
And y'all.
And today I figured our discussion is going to be something a little bit different. And this is, I guess I can give a shout out to the Pingu Bro.
Yeah, you can. He's the one that got you started interested in it besides me as well.
Yeah. Well, plus Markiplier as well.
Yeah.
And we're doing a discussion / review of Resident Evil 5 because I started finally getting into the franchise. I pulled the trigger, pun totally intended.
Oh my god.
So let's start with my history with the genre known as horror. Well, I just watched the movies. I played some horror games like I still need to finish Alien Isolation, but that's a good one. The FNAF series. And of course Friday the 13th the game, but other than that, I haven't really played any Resident Evil before. This is my first game.
Yep.
But I do know going into this game, 4 was very well received, but it was kind of the start of the transition from survival horror and to what it was starting to become in 5 and 6. Definitely in 6. Now, from my understanding, 4 was still 100% a freaking survivor horror game with some shooter-esque elements.
Yep.
Correct?
Yep.
RE5 is a balance of both.
This is true.
Now, to me, I don't think RE5 is all that scary. Now, RE6, that's a creepy game.
That's a different story.
But we'll get to that game once we beat RE6.
Yep.
So, and obviously I know with RE5, this game got mixed opinions. You had the people that was totally for the new direction because they probably thought, okay, cool, Capcom is experimenting. And then you had the people that was like, no, Resident Evil has to be the formula in the first 3 games and Code Veronica X.
Yep.
And 0.
That you are not wrong on.
I do know that Capcom made it go into this direction because of a business reason. I do know they did it because of money, because at the time, that was when games like Left 4 Dead 1 and 2 was very popping, Dead Space. So they tried to compete with that, and plus 2, they were wanting to make Resident Evil be the shooter. I mean, not the shooter, the horror equivalent of Call of Duty.
Yep.
Which is weird to me. Because COD gets its reputation from its multiplayer.
You aren't wrong on that one.
Resident Evil gets its reputation by the story it has and the horror elements. But it's Capcom. They were very weird during the early 2010s.
Yeah, they were.
Rebooting Devil May Cry.
That game got a lot of hate.
I mean, to be honest, I do understand why, because that little disc they threw at the
original DMC. Yeah, I understand that too, but as
gamers are passionate.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't like it that he did that this either, but I still liked the game.
Yeah, I mean, that's totally fair. I mean, if I can overlook a certain graffiti in Miles Morales, then you can totally overlook that diss towards the original Dante.
Yeah.
And you know the graffiti I'm talking about in
Yes,
Miles Morales.
I know, because you mentioned it after one of my streams.
But not only that, but you had Mega Man only be in the compilations because they were too afraid to continue Mega Man.
Yeah.
Although I do subscribe to the theory that they were probably sitting back and watching what Inafune was doing with Mighty Number 9. But they didn't make Mega Man games because they didn't have someone to do it.
That is also very true.
Although I do find it interesting how Mega Man 11 uses the same art style that Mighty Number 9 promised. That totally wasn't intentional at all from Capcom's part.
Oh yeah, it totally wasn't. Not at all.
And then Resident Evil kind of had a weird late 2010s too with RE5 and RE6. And with RE6, that was the game that made the Resident Evil fans put their pedals on brake, like, whoa, 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 whoa. We didn't mind you doing this in 5. And we didn't mind the little shooter elements in 4.
They just went.
But this is going a bit too far, Capcom.
Yeah. They just went full blown in 6.
Yeah. And I do wonder if that comes from the skill points. Because to be honest, though, too, right, if you want a more, quote-unquote, traditional Resident Evil type experience, don't
get any of the skill points. Do not use them at all.
I'm using it because,
he's new.
Yeah, I'm new, and B, I have a fear of zombies, so any freaking advantage I can get over those undead bastards, I will.
Exactly. Which I can't blame you on that one, babe.
Anyways, that's enough of that. Let's get to the actual review part, shall we?
Yes.
So,
we shall get to it.
Plot. You are playing as Chris Redfield and Shiva. You are a part of the BSAA.
Yep.
And you are going to Africa because of some reports you guys were getting, and plus Shiva, seeing it happen considering she's from Africa.
You're right on the dot. You're doing good.
As soon as you get there, everything has already went to hell.
They slowly lure you into it, though.
Yeah, they slowly lure you into it until finally you figure out that, once again, good old Wesker was behind it.
Yep, gotta love it when he keeps coming back. Oh, wait.
With the company of Tricell, which may or may not be, in my opinion, that's totally oh my god, how do you say it? Yeah.
I mean, that is a possibility. They are tied to that, considering.
But what's also weird, though, too, is that every single company in Resident Evil is so infatuated with what Umbrella did that they literally try to continue where Umbrella left off.
I know. And it's scary that they do that, but I think the reason why they do that is because of how successful Umbrella was. So they're hoping to get that successful too.
Yeah. Plus, too, this is just a theory. I don't know if this is true or not. This is just my theory coming from a new fan. I think it could also be because maybe some of these companies have former Umbrella people working at them too.
That is also a possibility as well, considering
Wesker.
Yeah, you got Wesker. Plus, during the events of RE5, Umbrella is kind of already disbanded. In a sense.
Quote unquote.
Yeah, quote unquote, it's kind of disbanded.
But finally what happens is the game switches from narrative of trying to figure out, well, it still continues trying to figure out what caused this whole thing to happen. If I'm correct on that.
Yeah, you are. Because that's the reason why Chris and Sheba were there to begin with. They was trying to figure out what was going on.
But then you see this file, and as it turns out, oh, Jill is alive. But here's the thing, though. Now, they explain this because they went back to the Spencer Mansion, which is actually, you actually play that with the first DLC.
Yep. Lost in Nightmares.
And it's explained that Wesker was getting ready to off Chris Redfield, and then Jill Valentine tackles both him and her out a glass window going down into the ocean.
Yep, right off a cliff.
And then later on, it's revealed that he put something on her chest that controls her.
Yep, that you later on have to take out of her chest.
So, and then, of course, finally, you do catch up to Wesker, and you do win. Although, in my opinion, they killed him off a little too early. I think they should have done that in 6, because the one thing that's ever happened is that Leon and Wesker has never crossed paths.
But they know of each other. They've never crossed paths, but they know of each other.
You would think Wesker would be a little bit more vengeful towards Leon, considering Leon got in his way a little bit in RE2, considering, he sent Ada along there.
Yeah. He got in his way a lot.
But then again, too, she did manage to get a G sample, so maybe that's why he didn't do anything about Leon.
Yeah, that is true.
So, what should we talk about next?
How did you enjoy the game?
Okay, going into this, I knew what to expect, because there was a period between 2016 and 2017 to where a lot of the YouTubers were starting to play it, and I think it's because they brought it over to consoles and PC, I think, during that time.
Yeah, they did. I believe they did during that time, yeah.
So I think that's why, and because of that, ironically, I was gonna make the freaking RE1 remake my first Resident Evil experience.
Oh yeah, we was gonna do Resident Evil 0.
Well, actually, even before then, I was gonna play the first game.
RE1. Yeah, you told me that you was gonna play the first one. Yeah, you did tell me that.
Part of the reason why was because I considered RE5 overrated. Because again, I kept seeing, I saw people like CL Dark Rose, Coy McLeod, that group played this game a little bit too much for my liking. So what happens with me, if I see something too much, and if I hear something too much, I end up not wanting anything to do with it.
Yeah, until the hype goes down.
But, however, playing this, I totally understand why when they played it, they enjoyed it. I get it. I get the hype around this game now. This is definitely one of those games that you're better off playing with a friend.
Yep.
There are sections to where both of you have to go off on your own. Which at first I was intimidated by that. But then over time
you got more confident with it.
However, in contrast to RE6, in this game, I don't like being separated. I don't like it.
I can't blame you on that one. Yeah.
So, I enjoyed everything about this game. The only thing I didn't enjoy about it was the aiming sight.
Yeah, the aiming reticle is kind of hosh posh.
Yeah, because like, I'm not close up to my TV, so I can't really see
The reticle.
it. Yeah, as well. So I kind of have to make sure that I get it onto the enemy so that I know where I'm aiming.
Yeah. I'll have to check and see if there's a way to fix that in options, just in case there is, but I don't think there is. Like, you can change the reticle color, but I think that's about it. But in RE6, the reticle is a bit better.
Yeah, it is a lot better. I loved the puzzle solving, which, once again, going back to my whole argument about how, like, as a kid playing PS1, I didn't really need a N64 because we had everything they had, and in my opinion, okay, again, this isn't me doing the whole console war.
No, it's just him literally stating his opinion.
They had Ocarina of Time. Well, question: you guys had Ocarina of Time. We had Final Fantasy VII.
That is true. That is very, very true.
And both games became very important to the RPG
God,
genre.
Yeah.
They're both big games. They're both still beloved to this day. They're classics.
Mm-hmm.
But getting back to Resident Evil, I also enjoyed going into the old Umbrella base and seeing all the liquors. I'm like, oh, now this is Resident Evil to me. Now, ironically enough though too, right? Here's Babe silently walking through, and here's me getting all the liquors attention. And not being careful.
You was doing good on the first part. There's just like that one misslip and they all just turned on us like, hello.
It's like when you're a kid and you want a snack so badly, so like you go into the counter and you get a chip bag, and then it's like you're trying to open it up and trying to be quiet at the same time, and then finally, like, when you do open it, for some sort of reason your parents hear it and they come down.
Oh my god, yeah. Yeah.
And then there was a point there too, like you were wanting us to just run through the door, and there's me like, no, I'm killing these assholes.
Which is a good thing that you did kill them, because we did get a jewel thing that we could sell.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Now I know that in the older Resident Evil games, you don't always want to kill everything you see.
No.
Which is hard for me. That's going to be so hard for me to be conscious about, because it's like, for me, I see something, here's saying, I see enemy, I shoot.
That somebody's gonna end up quoting that in the comments. I see enemy, I shoot.
But like, I loved the story. This is the game that made me a fan of Wesker, because I love how conniving he is. I love how, like, he is definitely a classic villain for sure.
Oh,
and he knows how to get Chris Redfield pissed off. He knows the right thing to say. But
it doesn't help they've had a long history together.
Yeah. And, what's interesting though too is that, like I told Mizuki here, is that, in my opinion, if the dude can survive a tyrant arm going through his chest, which should have killed him, he can survive freaking lava.
This is true.
Because at the end of the day, right, this is a video game, it's not real life, they can do whatever the heck they want.
They actually really could.
Plus, to be honest, there's that whole, if I don't see a body,
the character is not dead, and we did not see a body.
Yeah.
We just saw Kristen Shaba launch a rocket launcher at his butt. And kaboom, that's all we saw.
Yeah. And especially with like RE8, with Umbrella being connected to the freaking vampire family. Maybe that's a hint. Maybe.
I'm hoping it kind of is because I miss Wesker. Capcom, please bring that man back. I miss him. He's such a good character.
In like a lot of ways, well, too, right? It's like Cloud. You need Sephiroth to be a thorn in his side.
Oh my god, yeah, because without Sephiroth, it don't make sense.
because Sephiroth pushes Cloud to get better and better and better. That's the point of a good villain. It's to push the hero to get better.
Yeah.
And it goes back to once again to classic storytelling. It's Star Wars did it with once Luke found out that Darth Vader was his father. He finally decided, well, you know what? I'm gonna get stronger. I'm gonna bring you back to
the light. Yeah.
Vader pushed Luke.
This is very true. Vader did push Luke.
And the gameplay itself was, although there was one thing I hate in this game that made my anxiety go up, is it was the final part of the ruin level, and I climbed up and I had to push a car so I can get down into the one area to unlock the door for you.
Oh, yeah, that I remember.
Yeah, and there's a shit ton of lickers. And I'm trying to push that thing, they come up.
I shot a few of them down as they climbed up, but I wasn't able to get all of them.
Yeah.
But luckily 2 came after me, so...
Yeah, but the rest came after me.
I know, I'm just saying, I got 2 off of you, though.
But I was finally able to do it, and there was times that I was, I guess, severely pissed off at the game. Like, I was like, you know what, this game isn't for me, I'm done, I ain't playing this anymore.
Yeah, I think you did that at least 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
Which was understandable.
What else can we talk about?
Overall, besides you getting frustrated at the game, what would you rate the game from your first experience?
Well, for my first experience, I would have to give it a 8 out of 10.
That's not a bad rating. That's actually pretty good.
It probably would have been a 10 or possibly 9 if it wasn't for the fact that there were some things I think that they should have fixed with patches, like the site, and also the weird timing of the quick time events.
Yeah.
The quick time events.
Those quick time events, their favorite button was square.
Oh, I believe it was the quick time events that made me the most pissed off at the game.
I think it was too, because I know the reason why you got frustrated first time around was because of one of the quick time events.
The timing is weird, because they want you to press the button as soon as it pops up.
Yeah, and it's like, not everyone has fast enough reflexes for that.
And I pressed the button that they want me to press, like, while the freaking button that they want you to press was still on screen, and it didn't count.
Yeah, those were janky. Luckily in RE6 they fixed that.
Yeah, but, to be fair, in their merits, that was probably the first time doing something like that, but that is something I will say that I'm glad that they don't use as much, which is QuickTime events, but at the same time, though, too, I wish they still use them, because I think that's why I was so rusty.
Yeah, it's because you haven't done QuickTime events in a while.
Nowadays, the new trend of single player experiences and making games open world.
Yeah.
Or trying to become a Breath of the Wild clone.
That too.
That seems to be the latest trend nowadays.
Yeah.
Or be trying to turn every single game into a RPG when it doesn't need to be, like Assassin's Creed. I wish that they would go back to the classic
I
formula
like
of those games.
I haven't like played any of the ones that's supposed to be like an RPG, but I like the classic Assassin's Creed games. I like their style.
That's something that I definitely don't like about the gaming industry. To where, like, if they feel it's like music, though, right? It's like if they feel like something isn't trendy anymore, they just move on. It's like 3D platformers. People don't really make those anymore.
I know, and that makes me sad.
But then again, too, that's me speaking as a old man that has played video games since the middle '90s, late '90s.
An old man. I'm pretty sure a lot of people that grew up in the 90s understand your pain, so.
Although I will say this, I definitely enjoyed the challenge of the game. Because games hold your hand too much, and plus, too, like nowadays, like, here's the point with, like, Ultimate, they want to make the game more, quote-unquote, accessible for beginners. I'm like, fuck that.
Yeah, that.
You can make it a freaking option.
Yeah, just make it an option. That way people that's played the game before can be like, yeah, no, I want this turned off.
Like, that's, again, I want to stick to Resident Evil as much as I can, but, since, there's so much to talk about with Resident Evil 5, and since it also interlocks with other franchises, too, with its themes and gameplay style.
You aren't wrong on that.
Like with Sonic Origins, I legit may not even buy the game if they make it to beginner-fied.
Which is very understandable, because that's the classic Sonic games. They shouldn't have to be beginner-fied.
And it's like, a friend once told me that, that game overs and continues are starting to become a thing of the past, and I'm sorry, but I don't think it's so much the game's fault. I think it's so much that people have got more. I don't want to say this as a diss, but
people
I'm gonna say
have gotten too used to the games holding their hand.
Yeah, they're too used to it. To be honest, gamers have become kind of wimps nowadays. If something's slightly challenging, they freaking throw their controller at the walls.
Yeah.
And like, here's another too, right? Our generation is also to blame for this, because a lot of us grew up with the old style games, but it's like, because people don't normally go back to play games, people don't normally go to new ones, they're not used to it like us, to where we do go back and play the old Mario games. We do go back and play the old Sonic games. And I'm sorry, but like, when I see people classify a freaking old school style game as a rage game, well, going by that logic, then I guess all old school games are rage games then, huh?
Yeah, no kidding. If you want a rage game, try playing Mario Lost Levels. See how far you get in that one.
Oh, I know that this is weird. I know that we kind of got frustrated with that game a little bit, but I enjoyed the challenge of it.
Oh, I did too. So. I did too.
That tested my freaking platforming god skills.
Which, yeah, I mean, yeah, you aren't wrong on that.
But, going back to Resident Evil, I find the world building so cool. I find the enemy variants so cool. Especially the guy with the chainsaw. No, thank you. That guy's an asshole.
Oh yes, remember when we had to fight 3 of those?
You know, I don't. You know, it's funny. I don't remember that level. I don't know if I'm too scarred from it or something, but
You don't remember the level where you played as Jill and Joshua when they was escaping the Tri-Cell facility?
I remember that level, but I don't remember that part. So I must have.
You have excluded that part out of your mind. Oh my god.
Wait, is the part you're talking about to where you went up to do something and I was downstairs trying to fend for my life?
Yeah, and then it killed you, and then we had to redo it, and then where we went down and progressed really fast, we killed the first 2, and then he showed up, and then we killed him, and then we was able to do what we was trying to do.
Oh, that was frustrating me so bad.
Yeah, because here we are fending for our lives against 3 chainsaw guys.
Because, like, here's the thing, alright? I'm glad that she didn't baby me, because, with me making this my first time experience, because most of the time it was me going out on my own to do something. So, she did push me, which is great. but when it comes to RE6, I'm sorry, babe, but, no, I don't want to go on a separate path from you.
I know that, but the game makes you do it. I'm sorry.
But I can send you up there, can't I?
Sadly, no.
Oh. Well, there goes my plan for the next time we play. Well, I guess,
You would be able to send me up there if I was playing as Helena, but I'm not playing as Helena.
I mean, I don't mind playing as Elena, so...
You're enjoying the view, as Cardi
Very much so, yeah.
As Cardi said!
But... You know, it's... Do I think that this game is as bad as how people make it out to be? Because I do know this game has its fair share of haters. Not as much as 6, but I do know this game is, like... A lot of people started to lose interest in this series until 7 because of RE5 and RE6, and I know there's people that even started losing interest because of RE4 too.
That's kind of sad because RE4 is actually fun.
You know, it's because people acquaint Resident Evil with horror and trying to survive instead of, you know, and I know that there's probably going to be people going down into the comments saying, well, you know, RE4 was there that I know that, but what I'm saying is RE4 was kind of the start of the transition.
RE4 was kind of the start of the transition. Yes, it was a survival horror, but it was also a shooter as well.
Yeah, and you know, but I do think that RE5 is a fine game. I do think it's fun, and we do plan on going back and beating New Game Plus mode, maybe on normal difficulty this time.
Yep, which means that's gonna be twice the fun.
Yeah, which means those chainsaw fucks are gonna be even harder to kill now.
Yeah, but the thing about New Game Plus is, though, we still keep our weapons from the previous one, though.
Never mind, we're gonna be fine. Just like that. You know, there's those dark clouds that hang over me, and then a rainbow just popped up, lighting my way.
Yeah, because if I'm correct on that, with New Game Plus, you still get to keep the stuff you previously had.
And you see, that's something else I hate about the new version of New Game Plus nowadays that games do. They don't allow you to keep your shit.
I know, that makes me so sad when some of the games I've played does. I was like, why do?
Let's see. Is there anything else we can talk about?
I don't think there is until you get further in there into the game, into the more of the games of the Resident Evil variety.
Yeah. So this is pretty much my take on 5. Again, you know, this is a game that I very much was aware of because of the YouTuber space, especially the voice acting YouTuber space, because people was playing this, and you know, I will say this: when it comes to Resident Evil, I don't, like I said, before I played it, my whole thing was Resident Evil should be horror.
Yeah.
But I will say this. People may hate me for my opinion on RE6. So far, I have a positive opinion on it.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say my opinion on it until we do our review of said game. So therefore, I'm giving this game an 8 out of 10.
Yeah.
This game has some minor problems, but you know what? It was a good time. And with that, if you have enjoyed this video, make sure to comment, like, and subscribe, and hit that bell video. And I'm sure that during the background, there's probably some like cutscenes from 5 playing and all that.
I'm gonna make sure to get some cutscenes, like all the cutscenes.
And with that said, we'll be seeing you all in the next one. Later, guys.
Bye, guys.